Welcome to the Hour Show once again on Andy TV. Today I have in the studio the former bodyguard of Jerry John Rawlings, and it's none other than Mansa Musa. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you very much. In fact, I should say that I'm really grateful for being invited here once again, because when you go to a studio, any studio to do a program or, for questioning or for discussions, and you are invited back again, that means, for me, it's a massive endorsement, and I'm grateful. So
we are pleased to
thank you for inviting me here.
We are pleased to have you. But the reason why we called you, we've known you, and I think I've personally known you. You're an incredible person. But looking back at your experience within the security services or agencies in Ghana, where a lot of people are complaining now that we are lacking that sort of protection in Ghana, especially when it came to the Ayawaso by-election. What's your take on it? Do you think the current government is failing in terms of provision of security?
I can end this discussion quickly and say yes, but I ain't gonna do that. No. You see, before I go into details of what is happening, or what we've been told, or what we are hearing, let's look at the definition of security. If you look at the Webster dictionary or Oxford dictionary, it will tell you that it is security is a state, a state of feeling free from either danger or a threat. So either danger or threat. So if you are feeling free from these two sort of phenomena, that means there is security, you are safe. So looking at what is happening in Ghana, in fact, I wouldn't say only in Ghana, but all over Africa, or especially in West Africa. As Chuani Achebe once he wrote in his book, Things Fall Apart, looks as if the center is not holding. I will say there's no security. There's no safety for the feeling of being safe is no more there. And that is a shame, because what is happening now, that unlike previously, we had thieves or armed robbers and that sort of thing. They go the length at which they will go to protect their tract, or to hide, to hide from the long arms of the government, the law enforcement agency. They try not to be caught. But now it's such that they do it. The word I'm looking for is impunity. People are doing, acting with impunity. They don't actually fear being caught, and they know that even if they are somehow apprehended, they know how to work their way around the system such that they know they will go scot-free.
What could be the cause of it?
So many things. You see, when a society itself, when society can make itself intact, when society breaks, it breaks loose, when the system that governs people or brings people together no more feels safe, or the people who are supposed to manage security are not making the effort, or even if they are making the effort is not good enough. They are failing within the management of that security itself. And in this case, I will mention policing, right? For instance, just example, policing. Let's not talk about the military defense and all that, just policing. I've always said that in Ghana, for instance, if the police will raise their game, let's say 20, 15, 20, 30%. When I say raise their game, they should get their act together. If they work properly, they raise their standards 30%. There'll be so much safety. There'll be so much security. There'll be so much, people will feel good about themselves. And talking about security, anything that threatens your livelihood, be it food, be it water, even where to sleep and all that. But I don't want to broaden it like that. Let's talk about just the normal feeling of thinking that you can be killed or you can be robbed, or your property can be vandalized, and this is so rampant.
Okay.
And that is a failing of a state.
Right.
That I can say, yes, the state is failing, whether it's a government or the whole system, it is failing. As simple as that.
Okay. Why?
There are so many reasons, For instance, here in the UK, you cannot, I don't want to compare the standard of life or living, in our third country to that of Europe. But then, the effort or the mentality, the thinking of the average person for his life to be secured is always paramount. You see, back at home, back in Ghana, it's all about, it's a God. Today, I was watching some program, and a whole person, he says he want to be president, I won't mention the name. God said this to me, God have shown me a prophecy, it's actually ridiculous, it's nonsense.
Of course.
The method of using our own brains to do things has now eluded us.
Okay.
And why? Maybe we'll come to that later. But when in terms of security, we have a system. We have system back at home where the state or the powers that be have actually created security for themselves. They are well protected.
Right.
The rest, about 95% of the citizens, don't get the same protection. Either, be it the normal physical protection, that's the individual protection, or the collective protection, be it where to find food, how to feed your kids, your children, be it how transportation. Now talking about transportation, that safety net doesn't apply to transportation, because the police, I'll mention the police again, I say if they raise their game. For instance, if all of a sudden we can turn on the tap and police say today, we are going to man barriers and everything, we will not collect any bribe at all. Nobody is going to take bribes from drivers, right? A lot of vehicles are going to be parked. A lot of vehicles, which, these vehicles are not roadworthy, but they are moving, they are applying the roads. These vehicles are not good enough to maybe carry even animals. But then, back at home, people, use these vehicles, and their lives are all in the hands of someone who wants to go quickly, come back quickly, make big money. And the system, the system is so porous that where to start is the problem. Where to start? But I know your question, what you are driving at. The recent spate of killings, recent spate of kidnappings. Now we have kidnappings in Ghana, contract killing. Unexplained death, killings.
Ghana was never like that. So what has, obviously brought us to this stage?
I'm happy you're saying Ghana wasn't like. Look, anyone who will say that it was absolutely peaceful, it's not true, right? And since time immemorial, we the whole world over on this God's planet, there have been criminals, thieves, robbers, killers, and they will always be, right? In Ghana, in my day, like I said, we had thieves, we had armed robbers, and the like. But they go very far to. They make a big effort to cover their tracks. They don't want to be, to be caught. They don't want to, expose themselves. Now, it isn't like that anymore. They are not afraid, because the system is such that even when they are caught, you send them to court. Either is the judge, collecting money. Recently, we had this Mansa Musa this episode where judges, some very respectable judges, have been allegedly have taken bribes and freed some very unscrupulous people, right? We have all that. Then we have the police story I heard recently where police man's son was actually involved in armed robbery. He was caught, and later the police managed to, let him go away.
Okay.
So unless what we can, what we have to do, or the system will have to do, is to start from the very basics of going from A to B safely. And there is a system to follow. For instance, I will give you an example about, of how the feeling of not being safe is so rife in Ghana. I have a friend, a colleague who works at where, my, what do we call it, the internet radio station that I used to operate. This lady went to Ghana recently, and he told me a story. He went to the police headquarters in Accra, and the way she was treated, even up to a stage where she felt a policeman want to beat her up. And this woman, she has a British passport, right? So imagine an African woman, in Ghana, his own country. He said, I was just about to call the British embassy. How disgraceful is that? You are in Ghana, you don't feel safe. And even there, you are calling the British embassy. She didn't call, but you see how our system doesn't protect anybody except the few.
Is it the lack of discipline within the security agencies? I mean, you were trained across board. I mean, at your time, you guys were very disciplined. That got Jerry to be in power for so long. And you rightly said in your previous interview that you were not just trained to protect him, but to also instigate discipline across board.
Yes.
Why are you guys not recalled back into to assist? I mean, with the security agency and the training and all that.
Recall to assist.
Yes.
You see, let me tell you something. Today we have in Ghana, we have one parliamentarian who is a very big talkative, and one program I heard him say, Kandapa is a disaster. Kandapa, and this Kandapa, I think he is the minister for security or something. He's got a big man in the security hierarchy. And he said, this Kandapa is disaster. He said 2008, this same Kandapa was actually the minister for defense.
Okay.
And when Japan needed some help, security or some sort of protection, this Kandapa told him, in fact, he said this on one of these Adon programs. He said, Kandapa told him, security has broken down, so go and find your own security. That was where they started looking for these vigilantes and those things. We have people who are in these sensitive positions just because of the party color, the flag, or the not the clan as such, but the group he or she joins.
Okay.
You understand me?
Of course.
Back in my day, I wouldn't say that we were very, very perfect, but to be trained, to qualify as a national security, as a bodyguard. We have a place in, it's still in Greater Accra region, or as part of Volta for our Eastern, Suchari they call it. Who were trained in Afinya, they go to Suchari. This is a Suchari base. Now, apparently, that's the same place they've been training some of these new security men, right? Okay. That base has been there since Nkrumah time. And there is a gentleman, he's in his 80s now, I won't mention his name. He actually trained us as bodyguards, right? And I remember when we were in Afienya, he said, when you finish here, it's nothing. You are strong, you can run, you can fire. Now we are going to train you to be a proper protection officer. And it's true. After you've gone through that, I see, I could be strong with muscles and everything. It doesn't mean much. You see, I'll tell you something. There's one prominent person. I haven't asked permission, so I'm not going to mention his name.
Okay.
But it's very, very prominent.
Okay.
Then he was like maybe a bit older than you. Nice fellow. He's half caste. And he came down to lecture us from, he's a university lecturer at that time. Jerry and Kojo Chikata, we'll talk about him later. They sent this fellow to come and lecture us about the special, let me use my own word, the specialness of our job. How unique our job is. And to instill into our brains some level of discipline. Because if you are going to train civilians, some of us were in the barracks, were born in the barracks, so we know how to march and everything already. But raw civilians, up to the rank of a corporal in the army, within 1 year, it's not easy.
Of course.
I will tell you this. When we started, I think we are about 149, 150. When we finished, we passed out completely and we went to counseling. We were 49. Some actually left. They couldn't, they were not strong enough. They ran away. But others were just picked out because the intelligence told that these people were criminals. You can't give him AK-47 grenade and pistols and that. No. They remove such people. What I'm trying to say is that we have people in the helm of affairs today. Not only today, it's not only about this government, but ever since, we have to adopt a Western style democracy, multi-party system, so partisan. Since that time, people are in the helm of affairs. They should simply not be there. I'll give you one example. I don't know if you watched the program, the problem that happened at Ayawaso, right? And now they have set up a commission of inquiry, right? They brought this policeman up, is that Zugu or some policeman, Zugu or something. Goodness me. He couldn't stitch 3 words to form a sentence. And believe me, even if he had been asked the question in his own mother tongue or his own language, he will still not be able to explain. He's just not good. But he is one of the top men running the police. I mean, this man was all over. In fact, even we had people coming to say, I was nearly going to speak Fanti, but he said, look, I was embarrassed listening to that man. Look at the woman who is supposed to be our top security boss, like MI5, MI6, the security CID boss. What's the name? Tiwa, Madam Tiwa, or something like that.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it.
A+, that musician, young fella, he tricked her easily, and he started blabbing, blah 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 blah. And you see, they are there because someone put them there. Have
we just created these positions and we don't even understand what they stand for?
My very good friend, and as the Jamaicans would say, my kid brother, in a respectful way. Listen, I'll tell you this. We have to call a spade a spade.
Right.
In my day, let me start it all over again. We were assembled at Elwak Stadium. Elwak Sport. It's a small football field. Elwak Stadium, we call it. It's nothing like a stadium, but we call it. We were assembled there from about 6 o'clock in the morning. Then about 7, we were all in a big truck going to Afinya. That is the training starts. From that, I think it was 24th October 82 or something like that. And, every step, either people run or they sack you. Every step. And this I'm talking, look, it's not because, for instance, somebody knew my dad, my mom, that fellow knew, one side knew that I do taekwondo, I was black belt already, I was born in the barracks, and I finished technical school, so I was good enough.
Right.
Maybe that is the only push I had, not because I support any party. Others were brought from the North Upper region and this because they were cadres, supporting the revolution. Even that, they had to do proper selection. Physically, you must be fit.
Right.
Then mentally, they check your aptitude. Somebody put something here, just forget and run. This problem of ministers, even in this country, leaving their wallet or their laptop in trains and those things. That forgetfulness. They train you, look at you, if you are fit enough. And nobody brought anybody that, oh, this man supports my party. You see, there was no party.
Yeah, because you correctly stated in your previous interview, your father was requested to work as a consulate in the UK.
Oh, yes, yes.
Even though he was part of the Nkrumah security service.
The people who overthrew Nkrumah actually brought him here.
Yeah, exactly. Why can't we all work together now?
It is that they give you your position on merit. It's no more like that. We have to call a spade a spade. It's no more like that again. Right? So we went through all this training.
Right.
We were trained proper. For me, I know we're trained properly. Even when we finished and we came to the castle, the training hadn't finished. Because some of us were Algeria, so many places I can't mention. Okay. Go and do parachute. Some were sent to go and swimming, diving, this, that. All to keep you abreast. And I will tell you, so coming back to present day, there are people within the system. Forget about those so-called national security guys who went and performed abysmally, disgracefully, wearing masks and earrings. They should have put lipsticks on to look like Manu Wata and come and stand there. My brother, look, it's not funny. I look at it and say, what? We had a certain standard that we had to build on. But because we don't think like the Americans or the Europeans, no, we destroy it, we dismantle it and start all over again. Because our group, if they are kept, look at me now, I look fat and blocked like that. But in my brain, what I can tell somebody to do, and I'm not even the better one, the better one of among the best. I'm not. There are people who can actually, they are all everywhere. Some are in America, some are doing their business in Ghana. No one gives a damn about them. But we have people, forget about those people who are sent to IWASI. I'm talking about people who are running things. Look, this is about 9 positions. Special Minister, Security Advisor to the President, Minister for Security, something about 8 different categories. Structurally, 8 different. Then we have regional security coordinators, they call them. These people are all taking salaries, deputies and all that, and yet people are feeling unsafe. You understand? It means those persons are not good. Those persons are simply not good. Now coming to somebody like Brian Champol. Apparently he went to Afghanistan with American troops, fine. For me, I will tell you this, I wish every young man joins the army. Though I wouldn't like, as a Pan-African as I am, I wouldn't like any black man to go and carry the white man's burden. No. You understand me?
Right.
He went and fought a fight that shouldn't have been fought by a black man or African. But he had to go. Fine. I respect him for that. But that doesn't make him a security expert. If we start from the basis and we work, we are so now close to Americans, why don't you learn from them? Because American generals, those who are gray-haired and they are looking at this, they all got the brains, and you don't make them ministers. You don't send them to operation. I mean, they don't do the operation, but they are the advisors. They've got so much experience. And Ghana, look, I'm telling you, in Africa, they're Africa. If we count 10 security advisor experts, 10. One of them should be Kojo Chikata.
Okay.
One of them should be Kojo Chikata. Why am I saying this? Because it's not only about how you train, how you talk to Kojo Chikata. In fact, since I know 9 years now, I think I heard him speak about 3 or 4 occasions. He doesn't speak. His bite is harder than his back. Whoa. No, he doesn't. Quite moving, right? The only thing that this man said I will never forget, I think he was passing by and he heard one of the soldiers, we are doing some small security work there. I think he overheard someone saying, so we had a deba, and he said, look, there's nothing like small security. He said, even if you are guarding a place just for school children to walk along the street or some banku seller, so please watch my this thing for me. I'm going to the bathroom and I will start laughing. That you are watching. He said, it is security. You are securing a place. Nothing. Don't make it your money and say small security. Nothing like small security. I will never forget this. And that man, you know, when we had we came out commandos and if you see Mansa Musa, oh goodness me, with my camouflage and you know AK-47, we really looked the part like proper men. So a bit of enviness between ourselves and the regular army, because regular army you are trained, you know, 3 months and nobody even officers, they didn't have pistols. They keep at home, but we had everything. You dress with your pistol, brown, you know, that sort of thing. You look good, you know, that sort of thing. And women and all that, right? We had a little bit of enmity.
Okay.
And because somebody like Kojochi Kato was handling affairs, they were able to manage it. In the end, we became very good. I mean, we liked each other. If it was like people of today's generation, there would have been all sort of problems. Afterward, it was the soldiers who started the actual revolution, right?
Yeah.
And we came in.
Right.
So why will he antagonize us when?
Right.
You know, use us to make them feel little. You understand?
Right.
They manage everything properly. He should one. If you say 10 security experts, Kojochi Kata should be one. So what I'm driving at, if we you know we study how Americans do their thing, or the Europeans or advanced countries do their thing, we have to tap this knowledge, irrespective of which party. Look, somebody like Ibn Chambers, conflict resolution and those things. They are all very brainy at securing peace. Not Colonel, this is General Eskin. They are all retired. General Eskin. Goodness me. If you look at it, if you check General Eskin on Google, his credentials from UN and that and that and that. So why do we have people dressed like they are going to do concert? Where this thing and that? I mean, imagine 83, 84, 85, Mansa Musa cover everything and wear. Goodness me. Look, we go and do operation. Proper, not the one-man operation, you go and do your own thing. The proper operation, they sign everything. Still, RSM Tete will tell you, make sure you don't create any mess. They will tell us, make sure you don't create any mess. Because the image of the government is at stake. The people, you know, the revolution itself, apart from the image of the government, the revolution itself requires that the people should like the revolution. So why go damage everything by using your arms and power to And we have another tactics. For instance, you can look intimidating without actually being, what is the word? Without provoking. For instance, these guys came to Ayawaso, right? They were looking intimidating. They are fearful, right? You can still look intimidating without provoking.
Okay.
Just the presence, we call something show of force. The presence. You are standing there, but you can tell me, oh, please move backward. Please move backwards. It's like command, but still, the civilian listening to you, that command will feel happy. You saying please. It's a command. It doesn't go to the stage where you say move. It hasn't gone there. This is all training. These people haven't had it. Some of them apparently have been sent to Afriya, 3 months. And they are handling weapons. You see, you ask me that question, you know, some of them, you say, that is the fact. So I was talking, you know, somebody like Brian Champ, okay, fine, he's a minister, advisor of the national security, he's the minister for national security. The advisors behind him should be that of General Skins, Kojochi Katas of this world, Ibn Chambers of this world. Tiwa shouldn't be there. Tiwa shouldn't be security CID boss. She failed. Forget about MPP NDC. She failed.
Why do we have to always change them? Why are they not there for for a lengthy period of time, permanent positions. I mean, if someone is elected IGP or why don't we maintain them?
Okay.
Why do we keep every?
It's a good question, but don't forget that the laws governing the land itself, the constitution,
right,
allows the president to make changes. So president come, you have to bring his own man.
Right.
I'm not blaming only this president, but that's
shouldn't Parliament? I understand.
We need to take some sort of legislature. We need to make some new legislature to say that okay, now a proper police council.
Yeah.
Proper police council will select IGP based on merit.
Right.
Not because the president says so. If we do that, that is one, we are getting somewhere. Because the whole society is porous, is broken up. Everywhere, teachers take bribe, lawyers take bribe. Even I have a lawyer, you have a lawyer.
Some lawyers.
I say lawyers take, I don't say all of them, but when I say lawyer, I mean the lawyer. As the article.
The corrupt one.
The lawyer. Okay. Oh, you are a lawyer. sorry, Mike. You see, some lawyers, for instance, you have a lawyer, Even in Ghana, my lawyer can go and take money apparently from your side.
Of course.
And come and advise me wrongly or so, even tell me, Jan, let it be, let it go.
Yeah.
Because he has taken something else. You understand? The whole society, everywhere, inducement, presence, how do I say, something to keep you going, a thank you gift, hamper, all these things. If somebody will have to come and clean up the system, even though we cannot go back to the dictatorship type of governance like the 80s, someone have to come and clean up the system.
But I mean, you correctly mentioned, is it not best for us to that democracy probably is not working for Ghanaians or Africa?
It's not up to me, Mansa Musa, to say, I want to talk about security, right? If we want to discuss governance or government, where we are, Americans here, where we are at the position, you can't go back to rely on chieftaincy, or you understand?
Of course,
we can't do that. And no one is going to accept one party state. Chinese have proved everybody wrong. They are going to rule the world, believe me, because of the security of permanent governance. Yes, that security is there. That this government, one party state, you only select the president. And this president, they like him so much that they say he is president for life. You see, but we have adopted the Western style democracy. Fortunately or not, we have to make it work. We have to. Because to be honest, I look at what is happening now, where people don't fear to do the wrong thing. They don't fear. Then crime has been politicized again. Apart from the individuals who doesn't care about somebody going to your farm to burn your farm or to I don't know, kill your animals or run cattle through your what we call corn farm or anything, right? Apart from that, the state itself, I mean, the country itself has been divided into sections where if you don't belong to certain this, you are finished. It shouldn't be like this. It should be coming back to this vigilantism and the rest. Or what we know, I remember those days. Look, if you look in the dictionary, vigilantism, it's not a bad word, just like propaganda. Vigilantism is to be vigilant. You can form your own vigilantes here, that your assistant will make sure that, we the visitors, we don't come and take any, what is called beer mart or anything. It makes sure that anything that we come here and meet is always there. You are being vigilant. Vigilante doesn't mean that you can't see myself, put a knife here, Mansa Musa, what have you got in your pocket? That's not vigilantism, that's just being a criminal. Right? So we have criminalized people being vigilant. So, okay, let's put that aside. Now, we had this macho men. People go to the gym, pump irons, and they are macho men. You just, invite them to follow you to go and sort out your problems. Sometimes in a crude way, illegally. Fights and everything, right? We had it. We've had it for a long time. The only time that it changed, I said, look, for me, I'll call a spade a spade. 2015, is it? 2015.
Yeah.
What can Japan and the MPP, maybe Nana himself, what they did by inviting mercenaries to come and train what I call private army is treason. It's treasonous.
They invited missionaries?
Mercenaries.
Okay.
Apparently, recently they've shown some pictures that those from South Africa, but apparently some from Serbia those days.
Okay.
Look, I'll tell you a story. In my day,
When the NDC were in power?
In power. I'll come back. I know what you are going to say, but let me give you an example. In my day, in the 80s, yeah,
Right.
We had this militia training and all that. I don't know how old you were, but you might have known, you might have been told, right?
I mean, yeah.
So sometimes we'll be in the castle, then B and I will bring some information. Let's say somebody is training some dissidents. That's the word we use. They are training some dissidents, Balagarga somewhere, northeast or northwest somewhere, border with Togo, something, Namakaras. But you see what I mean? That is the information. Then everybody panic. Then they will go and check. Oh, some soldier man on leave in that village, our own militia. So he's using his spare time to teach them taekwondo or how to match something. No weapons, nothing. Even that. Because if you are training people to do combat, to learn certain skills,
Right.
physical skills, or they're using weapons or knives or whatever, if you're the top of the security apparatus in the country, they should know about it. The security bosses, the defense, the minister of interior, and all those things, they should know. The police bosses, they should know. So, Mansa Musa have invited some experts from London to come and train security men to guard. Maybe I've got some nightclubs, to man my nightclubs for me. They must know. If I bring them secretly, and it turns out that they are even learning how to use knives and weapons, goodness me, it's treasonous. So even that, I blame the Muhammad administration. That time, the minister, the interior minister, people should have been in prison. All what they did was to deport those mercenaries. So these are the people that were taught how to use weapons, and now they have been for this government. They are compelled to find jobs for them, and I know most of them will be good enough to join the physical national security to do some operation or go on operation. I know most of them. Not all of them will be bad, but some few, sizable minority are going to be criminals amongst them. Sizable minority. And it takes only one or two people to create so much confusion and havoc and everything in a society. So we have a problem where these people are part of the security system, where the opposition doesn't trust already. The opposition doesn't trust, anyone who is in opposition doesn't trust the regular security system anyway. Now they are saying it is your boys who are within them causing havoc. And me, Mansa Musa, what happened at Ayawaso, right? That thing that happened. Let's take, for the sake of this discussion, that it was true that they had information that some guys have brought weapons and they were in the house. Let's take for this purpose that it is true. Even if it is true that they had that good information that some people have carried weapons into a house, they will later use it. Even that is true. How they performed was abysmal. What I watch are these commandos. What I look, that thing we all saw.
Yeah.
That using also beating somebody and kicking, and somebody standing there with what we call it, lanyard and other things, catapult, earrings, mask. Apart from the fact that it was bad image for the government. It portrayed a very bad image for Ghana. Apart from that, the action they exhibited, the antics. That's the way I put it. That antics. Harrison Tete won't buy it. Look, I'll tell you. Once we travel with Jerry Rawlings, right? And we are all trained to, that training I suggest to, when the vehicle is moving, you still jump off the vehicle, right? You only fall down when you are doing training at the training ground. That you fall.
Yeah, of course.
But when
it's
you are actually happening, you don't fall.
Yeah.
You fall is a disgrace. One of these guys, well, he didn't sack him or anything. He fell. And I remember, I think it was Dankwa or something. He never traveled with us or the chairman anymore. It was sad, but well, they didn't sack him. He was good. He can shoot well and everything. But he never traveled. So that performance, that antics, for the minister and other people to go and defend this at the, what do we call it? What have they set up? Inquiry, board of inquiry or whatever.
Yeah, commission
of inquiry. And people are defending that. Those people defending that, look, they don't know that we had a certain standard. But they know, but they don't care.
Most I've had so many emails and callers as well. And most coming from experts from the revolution. And they are saying it's probably a testing water for the opposition. They are trying to test the power or the security service of Ghana at the moment to see what it is.
Well, whatever it is, we all hope that it isn't so. Because, look, put it this way. I spoke to one of the opposition guys in Ghana yesterday, and he said, look, we don't have to go and meet the MPP to discuss anything. We know it's bad. We have disbanded, dismantled. We don't want to. That's what he said. We NDC don't want to associate ourselves with any vigilante groups anymore. So the MPP group should also disband it. But he spoke in Tree and Nemum. But the guys who have been deployed or who have been enlisted into the special security forces, they have to be screened out. They have to be screened out seriously. Because if you don't screen out, in future it won't be against your opponent, but they themselves, those Kandapa and all those bosses, they will regret. Because this isn't proper security antics, what they did there. Believe me, I was trained at Asuchari. They shouldn't disgrace that training camp. Goodness me, they shouldn't disgrace that training camp. When you come from Asuchari, you should be good enough. Since Buzia time, since Champon time, all those the Buzia, Champon, this, that, and Lima, all those bodyguards, all those military intelligence bodyguards, that's where they train them. Massive discipline. Even I'm telling you that we had so much training, and yet even we still had bad apples. Some few people who did wrong things and they were punished. And our time, you couldn't have just gone to misbehave and you think there was no party being here. There was no party to say, oh, it is our men. No. Kujuchikata will find somewhere for you to go. And I don't mean it what you are thinking. Just that yes, you find somewhere for you to go.
Got a lot of people went places. Anyway, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more. Thank you.
Maintaining a presence at the forefront of a global issue with the desire to help others come to a resolve in personal and business affairs is why Andy D Legal and Immigration Associate was established.
We specialize in overseas British passport applications, bails and temporary admission, deportation and detention cases.
The profound pattern in achieving positive results with fragile cases in immigration, nationality, European Union and human rights law, adoption, marriage, divorce, litigation, and so on, up to date, has been broken, and that is why our client base continues to expand.
We also do representations at the UK border agencies and overseas consulate, human rights law, and settlement and leave to remain applications.
have the right keys to unlock any case across the spectrum of law, locally in London and across the borders in Ghana, where our other branches are established.
We are located at 44 Broadway, Stratford, E15 1XH. Our telephone number is 0203 1300 751. Welcome back. We're continuing to discuss some of the important issues facing the security departments in Ghana with Mansa Musa. Right.
Yes, sir.
Just before the break, you enlightened us on the security shortfalls and pitfalls in them.
Yes.
Now, Rawlings, what is his affiliation with the MPP now?
Why
do you laugh? I mean,
that's a good question.
What
Let me run up with this security thing, then I'll answer that question.
Okay.
In the end, we need to get somewhere. It needs to be, things have to be corrected. And I would say that the first and foremost should be this, the political will.
Okay.
You know, the political will. Now, Nado recently said NDC MPP should meet to discuss disbandment of vigilantism and all that. Okay, that is all. But that shouldn't be, that is not enough to me. The political will, you know, I remember, I forgot, was it 2009 or something? There was a very bad criminal activity at a suburb of Accra, Abu Brushi, where people use machete to just, you know, butchered people, you know, and it turned out to be political killing, you know. I know that time Professor Tamils spoke about it, but he was not strong. You know, he wasn't strong on the issue for me. He should have just enough is enough. We finished the election. Now I'm running this country for all Ghanaians. There's no need to carry on with these partisans killing each other. And you should have handed those people. I mean, make sure that the police, you know. So the political will.
Okay.
We need someone to come and clean up the system.
Right.
Starting with they themselves, the politicians.
Okay.
If you are, they shouldn't only be clean, but they should be seen to be doing, to be clean.
Okay.
You shouldn't be perfect or shouldn't be correct. You should be seen to be correct.
Okay.
Otherwise, if there's no political will, the political will, for instance, in a dictatorship like Rawlings' time, because there was a political, because it was a loan and it was not a democracy, you know, so the political will was there.
Right.
Stop, you don't stop, you find something.
Right. The reason why I asked you what is his affiliation with the MPP and probably Nanado, and I wanted you to answer that because I had a follow-up question to that.
You still want me to?
Yes.
Okay, look, I'll tell you this. I have to be very frank with my former boss and say, I really don't understand his brand or style of politics anymore.
But it's not just about politics. We'll shift to that area. But because he's now affiliated with them or association with them or in the form, I don't know what his relation is with the MPP or Nanado. But is he not able to advise him? Considering the fact that he's been...
I've seen some pictures and some comment that Rawlings made recently that Nanado's state of national address, what he said about vigilance is disarming, right?
Okay.
I will only believe that they might have discussed it. Okay. Maybe because I saw pictures that they were sitting together, maybe before before that speech.
Right.
That sonar, they call it sonar. Sonar rather sound like some equipment that is they use to detect whales in the sea.
Oh, okay.
You know, sonar, a sonar sound.
Oh, okay, yeah, sonar. Okay, I got it wrong.
God, yes, it's a sonar. Just say the state of national address is better. You know. For me, I'll tell you this. Look, I don't understand Rawlings anymore because it makes me feel, I may be wrong, but it looks as if he doesn't even want his own party to come back to power. I have to say this, you know. Look, sometime ago...
But maybe they are not the correct people with him. Maybe they are because if you looked at him very carefully and for the fact that you served under him, he is probably, he has precision. He wants... people that are
perfection, right?
Exactly.
I know.
So maybe this current party
I would tell
are not quite
fine. The people are crooked, they are this and that. But everyone got to be given chance to change.
How long?
Look, the point here is he himself, last time I spoke, I said, look, we did certain things in our day that today, if we had a chance to go back, we would have done it differently.
Okay.
He himself, Rawlings, he would have known, or he would know that maybe certain things, I wish I didn't do that. Look, if there's a chance for someone to prove himself again, to change, more so is politics, right? If your own party in government didn't perform, give them chance. Give them chance. You should talk about their deficiencies. I understand.
But
you should blast them. But you should give them the chance to reform, to change, to do this. But if you have a party and now the party members feel you are not with them, it's not good enough.
But this is where you are promoting somebody who was given a chance and messed up, and that is why he's out. So why does the party promote such a person?
Well, put it this way. I don't want to talk about personalities as we speak today being 23rd. They are voting.
Okay.
We all know that it's going to be cosmetic. I mean, Mahama is going to win, right? Right.
And so how do you want him to support someone like that? He might have
his own deficiencies or his faults, his mistakes.
A lot of them.
Exactly.
Right.
But the point is, what I'm trying to emphasize here is, you don't go on to damage the morale of your own group, your own clan, your own gang.
Maybe he loves Ghana and not about party.
Well, if that is the case, then you disassociate yourself. Be the father for all. For instance, Rawlings is no more attached to NDC. Fine. So he advised here, And even then, look, I have people, look, Boachijam some time ago said, Rawlings is a traitor, he's no more with us. And that time I said, no, this man is being too harsh. Look, I never thought it will come to a time I will tend to believe, analyze, and think Boachijam is right. Even though, look, I'm never going to criticize Rawlings with the revolution. We did things and it was in good time. We did our best. Maybe we got certain things wrong. I'm not going to criticize him for that. But his mode of politics, the present one, is a bit confusing. Look, his party, if you don't want to support them, then leave them. Then we know that, okay, you don't speak on the air, but where you let them feel that you are giving the opponents. Look, I don't mind. I mean, I don't say that, okay, you should speak against this present government. But we are all here. We know very well things are happening now that Rawlings should have been more forceful in coming forward. We know he talks a lot. We know he should be able to make certain comments. The only comment he's made about this government or this is, Ghana is true that Ghana is hard. Apart from that, everything else, he's making it look as if Mahama's time or previous government was worse than, if it's about corruption perception, it is worse than this time. Of course, after all what we can say is the perception. Japan went to the Flagstaff House or Jubilee House and came back and said that people are collecting bribes and this. With no proof. But people believe it's all perception, right? So I don't see why. Look, I know that his people, that is the NDC, hopefully, maybe after this election, maybe he's going to change his style or attitude and maybe going to balance the criticism.
Let's assume that Mahama wins it. Do you honestly believe he should be given another chance? I mean, what is there?
That's what I'm saying. If you don't want your own party to be in power again, then make a clean break. I want to say, clean break. Who
is advising Mahama in the first place?
Well, Mahama, look, I'll tell you this. For me, you see, the other time I watched one of the videos you made with the politicians, I don't want to argue for NDC or MP against them. No. But Mahama had his faults. Believe me that this time around, people like Guzitano, people like even all those who competed him, even I am quite sure people like Kojochi Kata will have to be brought in to reshape the security system, to reshape, because these are experts. I would have been happy for Nanado to invite Kojochi Kata. Look,
you think that would be a good idea?
It would be a good idea. He knows what to do about security. The guy knows.
Okay.
Look, it's not about go and kill or go and batter people. No.
Of course.
How the management of security.
Right.
I'm saying this guy knows about it. Don't let him die and go away.
But this, of course, I mean, and I think that's a good advice to give into the Najo. But the NDC themselves never respected the views of Rawlings?
I will tell you a story. I have a friend. I say colleague. He's very critical of Muhammad.
Right.
He used to be ambassador to Dubai.
Right.
He is very critical.
Right.
He told me once, he said, look, one time, he said during Muhammad's one day, Kuji Carter came to visit him at the cast at the Jubilee House or Flagstaff House, sat there for 3 hours. And the president never showed up. So Kuji Carter just left.
Okay.
You know, I know why they try to distance themselves from even Rawlings himself doing Atamel style.
Why is that?
You know, in 2008, it was, you know, these MPP people, they are very canny. They are very, very canny. I would say cynical. When you are not with them, you are worse than anything. But when you are with them, okay. Look, they were campaigning that if you vote NDC, you vote Rawlings back to power. And this is after Rawlings have left 2000, right? Or 99, finished. And Ghana is in transition, and people remember beating soldiers, you know, that's a military rule. So it wasn't a good brand. You understand?
Of course.
The Rawlings brand wasn't good anymore. So they tried to distance themselves from them. But what I'm saying is, look, pragmatism. We should know what is right. Because Jikata is old man now, right? If you call him to say, look, what can we do to do this? He will bring his ideas. You don't even have to see him in public.
Of course, I understand that. But then you had Muhammad in power. Vis-a-vis
who didn't use him?
Who never used him?
Of course.
Exactly.
I totally agree with you. Look,
why are they still promoting that Muhammad
I
agenda?
personally think,
right? Don't they have anybody competent?
Me, Mansa Musa, those guys who are now in the helm of affairs. I, Mansa Musa, watching just the film or video sometimes is a bit deceiving. You can't just base your point on what you see. But from utterances, like let's put even this commission of inquiry, how they say things, you know, how they say things. For instance, this man, Kandapash, would have watched the video of Ayawa Solistin before he went to the commission. So why would you go and sit there and say, they fired, or they say they fired 6 shots?
So it's not certainty.
You see, when we all know that they fired more than 6, or there were more than 6 noise, so it could be anybody, but it was more than that. So there's a way to, to put your case across for someone to know that you are not being disingenuous, or you are being truthful, even though you don't exactly know where you are at this point, but you are being truthful.
But coming back to this, you said the MPP brought people in for training.
Yes.
During the NDC administration.
Yes.
I mean, clearly you could blame them for starting that.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they feel
I spoke about this you mean the MPP
bringing them? But when they brought them in, and I'm sure, like you said, they distanced themselves from Rawlings. Maybe Rawlings would have probably advised them. But when you distance yourself from the leader of the party,
hang on a second. Are you talking about MPP in opposition bringing mercenaries? Or
of course, that's what I'm talking about.
That has nothing to do with Rawlings, has it?
No. I'm saying because the NDC were in administration at the time, they could have sought probably advice from Rawlings because
Kojo Chikata. They did it. It's a mistake.
So,
it's one of the numerous mistakes.
Exactly, but now now the MPP are associating themselves with Rawlings, probably with such.
That's what I'm saying. Look, I'm not saying that is not good though.
So what I'm saying is
that's what I'm saying. If he really doesn't want his party to come to power, because some of his utterances is politics. It doesn't help. Some of his speeches or his comment doesn't help the NDC. It's a fact. So
Kufuor was never critical of Mills, if you quite remember. Kufuor was never critical.
Oh yes,
I mean, is he not a state person now?
Kufuor have said very little about this government, even though recently I think he said something. But you see the point. I don't mind. We're only still speaking. Nobody can shut that up. No, he shouldn't. He should talk, but he should balance it, or you should be not neutral. It should be objective. I've always said that nobody can be neutral. It shouldn't be neutral. It should be objective.
Right.
But look, we 2 years ago, Muhammad was doing the same thing, and your people are doing the same. You should be able to say that. You should be able to say that. That look, Ghanaians are thinking, or the perception is that your people are.
But don't you think he knows
as
more?
We sit here, please, as we say, Mr. Andy, a good lawyer, a friend of mine. Listen, as we sit here, I don't really care. European Union, they always want to control us. I'm not saying they save something and it's final, it is gospel, but they've actually included us. I mean, Ghana, in the group of countries that apparently, money laundering is rife. It's not being controlled properly. Money laundering through terrorism is not being controlled properly. We are now in that group. It's not good. I'm not saying we should follow them, but then if that is a system, a yardstick, that you measure you look at certain countries, their way of doing things, and that standards, they are using certain standard to grade certain countries, and we are not in the law. You cannot associate money laundering with Ghana. That would have been good, isn't it? Now they say we can associate money laundering with Ghana.
Okay,
it's all about. Well, you see this.
Right.
I would have thought that if it was Muhammad's time, President Rawlings would go mad and talk. So why is he not saying anything here? I mean, for me, look, he should be friends with Nanado. He should advise you. But his own party, I love them or leave them. It's not helping.
But they disrespect him a lot.
Well, do you think they will disrespect him again? I don't think so.
Right. Because they're in opposition.
Of late, they've been going to him for almost everything. They line up every time to go and shake
because they want their way back to power.
So why don't you just listen? For me, look, I will always love that man. I always follow him. Right? Okay. If he's not with NDC, I don't mind. I will always follow because I know he had a heart for Ghana. He loved his country. I mean, he loves his country. So whatever he does, there are certain things he says, maybe I would have advised him to say differently, right? But you can't shut Rawlings out. But then when I'm saying his own attitude to his own party, if you don't want them to win again, let them know, so that when you are criticizing, they will see you as an outsider. But being an insider, it doesn't make them feel good at all. And they've been telling me, I'm doing this journalism thing.
Of course,
I'm running a program, politics and da. Very soon, if I'm lucky, I'll get one or two of them, Mahama and the rest. Even Jerry himself, I'm looking forward one day, maybe I'll talk to him if I'm lucky. If I can get those around him, some of the guys around him, I know them very well. If they can get me some permission or something, maybe I can even one day when he comes to London, we can bring him here,
of course,
to come and interview him.
Yeah, I think that would be quite something.
You see,
so
in the nutshell,
I don't think he would like to meet me.
In the nutshell, I love the. Oh, why wouldn't you like to? Why are you saying that?
Well, I think he made a comment at KNUST about me, about that program about...
which one?
I think I interviewed Adebuga and he believed that I was pushing the wrong buttons for it. But hey, it's an interview and I wanted to get the facts.
I came here to push his side of the story.
Of course, but there.
So now at least you know that you are just you are doing your professional job.
I was surprised, but yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
If it was the BBC, he was going to criticize the BBC.
Of course.
It doesn't personally, not you and the DTV, but just that some television somewhere is trying to, portray or mislead or anything.
Well, we're not mislead. I think they were fact-finding. And of course, he has the right to his own views and opinion. Right? Yeah. I believe that going to KNUST was the wrong platform. Well, if he wants to really talk about the NRC,
he had to respond, innit?
Right.
He had to respond.
Well, this is where the platform is. He's welcome to come on the show.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
So, I'll be meeting him
you should also not get the wrong end of the stick because, look, of course you wouldn't be happy. Right. Look, I will tell you this, that the Buga and the rest,
right.
For me, how do I put it? I don't agree with them. I'm not saying what they are saying, telling us is lies on it, but they are politics.
Right.
I'm not in the same line with them, right?
Right.
But I don't begrudge them. I don't hate them, and I don't say, I would never say that they shouldn't, come out with those things.
Right.
After all, that is how we reconcile.
Right.
I mean, talking about it, we can one day, that's what I want. They should one day shake hands on it. Look, we all made mistakes. Let's move on. That is what should happen between Adabuga and the captain, all these different people. They all made mistakes. Kujikate made mistakes. For goodness sake, coming back to security, the political will is needed to clean up the system.
Okay.
Starting from the law enforcement agents, which is the police. If the police, I will repeat this, if they raise their game 15, 20, 30, 35%, just goodness me. Because imagine that the lorries, the vehicles that they are leaving them, letting them pass with non-proper worthiness or
but talking about I mean the problem doesn't probably, I don't think the problem even start from just this roadworthiness. I think it starts from importation of cars. I think it starts from there.
It starts from there.
Do you know how many
accident training?
Yeah, well, and also, because the sort of accident cars they bring to Ghana, with airbags already exploded, and it's already
yes.
How do you accept such cars in the country?
Some of these cars are modified from right hand steering to left hand, and those and before you see, it's not done properly.
Exactly.
Okay, let's put that is a bit going into details technically.
Of course,
but the simple things we've got to do that. Look, you can see that this lorry is coming and it's twisted or it's disjointed, and yet you just take the money and let them go to go and kill people.
Wow. If
we stop these things, because it's going to bring some hardship. People can't go from A to B because that driver is driving too fast. So we stopped him. He sees his license. The tires are worn completely. The brakes are not working properly. All these sort of things. Why take 5 cities and let them go and kill people? You see, that responsible, look, maybe just because I'm now living here, it's a shame because I'm a Pan-African, I'm an African. I want us to do things properly, like Nkrumah envisaged. We have to do things properly. We cannot sit in Africa. Look, I know you, if you leave me, I'll talk to you tomorrow. But I saw this video clip from Nigeria, right? Migration officer just took his weapon and shot somebody point blank because apparently that fellow should pay 5,000 naira. He said he hasn't got it. If you do, I'll shoot you. He said, you can't do that. You say I can't do that. Shoot. Right? And last week I heard on Doom radio, Captain Smart, I like him very well. Most of his activity, what he's agitating for, right? But this time I said, no, it's wrong. Anywhere, any society that there is plenty weapons doesn't make the society safe. He is asking our migration officers to be armed because they are armed in Togo. Look, Nigeria. Yes.
He doesn't understand what he's saying.
Exactly. Right. You understand? Just because they are armed in Nigeria. And migration officer just shot because that everybody be proper trained.
He should be rather promoting every citizen should have a gun.
Well, he should say that.
That should be better than immigration.
So, look, I have held weapons before. I know the damage they can do.
Yeah.
Plenty weapons doesn't guarantee safety. No. So, for us, I want our people. My dream is for next generation or next 2 generations when they want to travel to Europe, just on holidays, come and just go and have a walk and go back.
Okay.
So that, like President Putin said, he said Africa as a continent is 1,000 times richer than Europe.
Okay.
But 1,000 times poorer. In terms of resources, Africa is 1,000 times richer than Europe. Yeah. But in terms of development, Africa is 1,000 times poorer.
Well,
you see,
of course, yeah.
If we are able to do, why don't we want to do things well? Education, no. We can talk and everything is rather being dampened down. No, free education is good, but believe me, When NDC came to power 2009, the first thing they did was to reduce the length of secondary education, the period, 4 years to 3 years. I personally condemned that.
Right.
That policy was wrong because I was of the opinion that if these children are attending school for 4 years and they can't spell properly, they cannot put two sentences together, multiply, arithmetic, they can't do it properly. Why bring it to 3 years? Will they be okay? Now we have them for free. So it's good to go and sit under a tree. I mean, come on, guys.
Well, Mansa Musa.
Yes, sir.
I think if we're going to even launch into that debate,
after that debate, we are not going to. I think security is enough.
Yeah, I think we'll catch up with you another day to talk about that aspect. I'd like to say a big thank you for coming.
You, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Like I said, I will repeat it that I'm grateful because it's not always that you go to a studio and they want you back, For me, it's a massive endorsement and I appreciate it.
I'm honored. Well, you heard it all from Mansa Musa. He's a former bodyguard to the former President John Rawlings. Well, this is where time will bring us. We would like to say a big thank you. Remember to follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. That is Andy D TV. Thank you for watching. Good day.